Here I have a stack of books, all by female authors, and I'm going to recommend them to you. Some of them are my favourites, some of them I just really enjoyed. Starting off with one that I actually go for the batshit for is Gideon the Knights by Tasyn Muir. When Electo drops, I am going to be screaming the whole time until I have it in my hands, and screaming the whole time I'm reading it, because holy shit, this is not a book for everybody. Everybody should know about Gideon the Knights. It's trippy, you kind of don't know what's going on intentionally. It's not something you do if you're kind of new to fantasy or new to reading or any of that. You have to sort of be kind of well versed in the genre and learn how to trust the author. This is a trust the process book. It is worth the process. It definitely comes together at the end. And then book 2 comes around and everything you thought you knew, you didn't know. But some people don't like Gideon because of her voice. I love her voice. I love her gay magazines. I just love everything about her. Butch, lesbian, but also just like mouthing off and all of that. And I love it. I just love Gideon the Knights. So out of the 3 books I've read by Tasyn Muir, Gideon the Knights is my favourite. It did take me a couple of tries to get into it. Once I got into it, I was sold. I was just obsessed. And I don't have time to reread, but I really want to reread. Another female author that I think I'm going to love everything she puts out is Genevieve Gornichec. I think I'm saying that right. Gornichec, maybe. I don't know. Not necessarily this book, but The Witch's Heart, which I don't own. That might be a good one to put on my Christmas list, because I've read it but I don't own it and I might need the trophy. It is a retelling of Loki and his wife and his children, and it is so beautifully well done. It's incredible. The way she slowly builds the stories up, builds the relationship, how you understand Loki. I mean, there's so many depictions of Loki in media. I mean, everybody knows Tom Hiddleston's Loki and love him. But this Loki gets deeper into his character, and you're learning to see Loki from an outside perspective and his choices, but also the main character's choices, whose name I have completely forgotten. I think it's one of those really weird names, but it was such a good book, and I highly recommend it. I sobbed my heart out at work, absolutely sobbed. I do that a lot. But I sobbed my heart listening to the audiobook at work. Like, I am totally fine. I wasn't, but it's one of my highly rated books ever. Everybody should just go pick up The Witch's Heart. Another highly rated book is newly read Jonathan Strange and Miss Norrell. Technically, I've only read one book by Susanna Clarke. It is this chonker, but so many people love her. I understand why. This was so artfully done. I have a review that you need to go check out, because I have read nothing like it, and I do not think I will read anything like it. I cannot wait to dive into her other works. Piranesi, people go to the bat for Piranesi. That is going to be high on my list for 2025. So, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. This, going a little bit blind, expecting rivalry between 2 magicians in the 1800s London or England. The atmosphere is there. The fairies, the magic, how it's told. It's the way it's written is to the time, but also comforting, but not something where you're reading like a classical book and you're going to get bored. It's just very concise in its telling, and I know this is a big book. It's as big as Way of Kings. Word count wise, it's as big as Way of Kings. Don't be intimidated. It is so brilliantly and eloquently done. You are just immediately transported into another world. I highly recommend it. Something a little shorter. It's going to be Shauna Lawless, who's such a lovely person. But her series has just been completed. I have not read book 3 yet, so this may change. But so far, her favourite book of mine is The Words of Kings and Prophets. It starts off with Children of Gods and Fighting Men, which I enjoyed. This book came round and I was blown away. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Children of Gods and Fighting Men. It was a great introduction. It is historical fantasy, but it's very much to the women in this. They're so different in character, and yet I don't know who I want to root for more, because I love like the vicious, the Cersei kind of character that you get in one of them, but then you get the really kind character, the one who cares, who has been through a lot, who has suffered by the hands of men, but she's still coming out as caring. She's a healer. She's all of them. Like, I don't know who I root for more. There is a slight romance that I just adore as a non-romance reader. There's so much about this world, the mythology behind it, like the Irishness of it, completely. Slightly Viking as well. So if you like John Gwynne, you would love this. I just absolutely love anything, and anything Shauna Lawless is going to write, I am going to read. I am just going to read. I cannot wait to get to book 3 of Fierce Women, The Daughters of Izdihar. This is basically like suffragette set in a place like Egypt, centered around elemental magic, and make it gay. I read this a while ago, and it's so underrated. It's a duology. Book 2 is released, and honest to God, I blinked and I was done. The politics that are in this, but the fierceness of the women, again, like Shauna Lawless said, differing sides of women. There was one who was born to a rich family, forced to marry off. The bargain that she made to marry this guy was she was going to be enrolled in this elite school who only take men, but they've just started taking women of magic. So she's going, and that's why she married the guy. But then there's little suffragette-y things of what women are doing underneath, how everything, and they're starting to whisper and rise up, and she really wants to go further. She wants to basically pound on the doors of patriarchy and tear it down. That's not going to get what she wants done, but that is one of them. The other main character, who is from a poor family, her father's trying to marry her off. She has to go through a brutal examination that I sat there and I went, no. I literally put the book down, walked around the room like, what? No. The fact that it happened, could still be happening in some cultures today, is baffling. But if you love women power, you love suffragette vibes, women coming up, claiming what they want with an elemental magic system, this is definitely going to be your jam. Everybody knows Rebecca Ross for her Divine Rivals, and I do recommend Divine Rivals. I didn't think I'd like Divine Rivals because it's classed as a romantasy. I actually really enjoyed it. That is how I like my romance done. In romantasy. That is how I like it done. This is like a fairy tale on paper. This is like a fairy tale on paper. It is eloquently written. It is full of everything. The main character is a guy. He's a bard. There's so much going on. It's like you open the book and then you are transported into this world of magic and fairies. And it's just incredible how it's told. There's so much mythology through here, and it's a duology. It's completed. It's something I highly recommend. I don't see enough people talking about this. Yes, I do have the Illuminate edition. This is one of the ones that I did as an audio, but as I was listening, it was like I forgot I was working on a horse yard. I forgot I was here. I was just moved, and I love how she built the characters, how the different POVs come together, the mystery that was trickled throughout, the different cultures and the warring sides, and it was just beautiful. It was just the one word I'd use to describe this book is absolutely magical. Jen Williams is a new author to me. Jot Davis can narrate a fucking book. He narrated the 3 of these books. I binged these back to back. Jot Davis's voice is sublime, right? Oh, lovely. This is, it's like a different take on vampires. It's like a different take on warring, on suppression, on being who you are, being religiously like suppressed as well. All sorts of things going on here, but the main premise of this is every so many years these creatures come back and try to take over. They are scary. Do you know why they're scary? They're fucking spiders. Not literally, but they're pretty much just spiders. And somebody with arachnophobia, nope. But the whole premise around these kind of vampire-like creatures is the reason why they turned into vampire-like creatures is because their sustenance that they used to get the immortality from this tree thing is dying. So they learn that they can get it from blood, but it comes with consequences and diseases, and people can die of like a blood sickness and all of this, and it's very well thought out, very, very well done. There's witches in this, there's griffins, there's dragons. If you are a dragon girly, do read this book because it's just amazing. And I'm not going to spoil too much. A lot of the events that happen in these books kind of blur into one because I did binge read these over like a week. There are moments in these books where I'm laughing, where I'm crying, mainly in book 2. They are just something that is so underrated, and the one thing I'm glad for the Broken Binding is bringing this to my attention because I had no idea this existed. So go pick it up if you like cultures, wars, epicness, dragons, griffins, different creatures. This is definitely up your valley. I could just not mention Gallent. I've read quite a few of V E Schwab's books right now, and Darkest Age of Magic, I was entertained. I didn't love it as most of the people, but I was entertained. Invisible Life of Agatha LaRue, floored. Loved it. Gallent spoke to me. Do you know why? I have suffered from selective mutism, especially as a child. The character in this is mute, and the way V E Schwab just wrote her was perfection. She had character, she had agency, she would smash things to the floor when people would ignore her because she can't physically talk. To get their attention, say, don't ignore me, and I'm there for it. She was clever. It's a creepy book. It is a creepy book. There's alternative house and that darkness trying to get through onto this side, and they're trying to stop it, and it's only the family who can stop it. It's soft, it's atmospheric. Don't go into this book expecting a lot of plot. It's very atmospheric. I love the relationship between the main character and her cousin that she realised she suddenly has. How she's finding clues, finding stuff about her parents, finding out who she is. It's just so well done. The narrator is amazing. They do like one side of like a sound effect where she's reading a letter that her mother wrote, and it's turning the page, the sound of the quill scrubbing out the words. It's so well done. I'm probably due for a reread of this because Gallent is one of my favourite books, and it's one of the ones that just buries deep in my heart, and I just love every second of it. It's so short. The audio is amazing. I recommend immersive reading this, I'm not gonna lie. It's so good. If only I had more time on my hands to actually read, I would be rereading this for this kind of time of year, because it is kind of spooky, but I take comfort from it. I just love it. It would not be a female author recommendation video if I didn't mention Robin Hobb. I would have the whole realm of the elderlings on here. That seems like a bit much, and also I can't hold it up. But there are a couple that stand out. Royal Assassin, phenomenal. Golden Fall. I mean, I love Fool's Errand and I love book 2, but Golden Fall, the emotions that came out of me when reading this is unfounded. And also the last trilogy, maybe the last book, because the last book I spent, I kid you not, the last half just crying, sobbing. That was just me. But everything that happens with this fits the stories, his relationship with the Fool, how eloquently it's told, how with each book you learn more and more and more about the world, about the magic system, and there's things that the last trilogy that kind of spins back around to the first trilogy. You're like, oh my god, they kind of interlink, and they do, and it's perfection, and I love every second of this. There is not a book in the realm of the elderlings that I haven't loved. Like, don't get, even live ships, and it is different, but Fitz's stories just speak to me so well. They are perfection in my eyes. They are. Robin Hobb is my favourite author of all time for a reason. The Realm of the Elderlings is my favourite series of all time for a reason. Is next year, is 2025 going to be the year of the massive reread? Those are some of my favourite female authors and their favourite books. They are not all. There are so many more female authors that I could recommend of books I enjoyed, but these are the ones that stood out to me as I was reading them, and the ones that I keep thinking about. Comment down below any female authors and books that you really enjoyed. I'll see if I haven't read them, and I'll see if I'll pick them up, and I'll see you next time.